a deep one. Talking about going, you're talking about people coming from the future and going back into the present to change the future, like in Alexandria or Alexander. I'm just wondering, with the type of work that I do with past life regression and also root cause regression, is it possible to take people from the present to ask their higher self to go back into the past and ask what's most appropriate that happened in their life, that if they made a change in that time, say in their childhood or in their teenage years, that could actually catapult their evolutionary scale in this present? Is that appropriate to do, or is that?
Yes. And I do it many, many times when I'm doing healings on people. If people like an example, there was a reading I did on a gentleman named Gary that had a throat polyp that had gotten very big, and I went into the energy and I helped him release it from where it was originally created, as there's a number of other healings. So what I'll describe is, let's say you have a person that's abused as a child. Now, I run into this very, very frequently. So what I will do is I will have the adult I am presence being in front of me create a contract revocation that allows them to create sacred space and to love themselves. So as an example, I at this moment choose to be in myself, choose to be all that I am. And I look through my memories to the point that I was first abused, to the point where I lost my innocence. I look into my memories for that child looking up in anger and hatred and disrespect and all of that energy. And I love them. And I send my love from the future. And then I go to that being in my mind, the child looking out the window in despair and regression, obsession and depression. And I say it to you, I love you, my brother, for you are me. I love all that is you, all that is. Share in my love. Find it. And hug that child and tell them who you are. I have grown through this abuse. I am a new being of the future. Feel my love. Feel everything that is about it. For it is in the now that we choose. And then I will take them to another scene when they are a little bit older where the abuse is affecting them differently. And I will once again have them go back to that child in their memory and have them meet them, hug them, love them, be a part of them. And what that does is those beings still had that experience, but the present being now has suddenly changed their experience by clearing those that are stuck as anchored, angry moments in time, where the depression, regression, obsession still keeps them looking out in the window 30 years in the future, because that is a soul shard. And when we begin to integrate those back into us, we change the now, exactly like you just asked.
Right. It's just I had an experience also where I do some part-time work also with the elderly, and I noticed that the gentleman, his daughter, who's 60 years of age, when she comes and sees her father, it's daddy, daddy this and daddy that, and I can see this little child, and from the family, from some of the other family members were talking about how harsh their childhood had been and the way that they were so controlled by their parents. It's thrown her to stay in this childhood way, and I just thought that might be a wonderful way of healing that inner child.
Yes, a very, very, very good way to heal the inner child. And it's about getting them to create in their mind's eye what they looked like when they were a kid, and for them to think about what it was like when they were depressed, despaired, and to just find a single moment in which their mind can latch onto in an imagery so that they can hug that individual and tell them their story of how they've grown older, how they've grown through the abuse and etc. And I've had countless number of people that have gone through this experience and have deeply, deeply healed themselves because they gave themselves enough of their own self-trust so that they could express love to a part of themselves that they know wasn't ready to accept love back then because of the abuse. Because they never were taught love the right way. They were taught it the perverted way.
Right, and we see the results of that everywhere in the humanity around us.